Good morning. Freedom of speech is the hallmark of any free, democratic country. The best human right that can ever be exercised is to express your opinions and your views without any inhibition, without fear, at the same time without hurting people. As I always say, I'll disagree to the extreme limits, but I'll also protect your right to speak your mind and express your opinion. And this right of free expression has always been a cherished one, especially in the bastion of freedom and human rights like Canada, USA, and parts of Europe. But today, this very right is sought to be dismantled and removed. We have seen the examples of invasion on this right with a view to annihilate it with vapid, meaningless, inane statements that are just politically correct. Imagine European Union Commission ordering British press not to print news of terrorism provided they were by the Muslims. Fair enough. But why? The House of Representatives in USA passes a bill 569 stating very clearly that Islamophobia is a crime. It is. But why pick up Islamophobia only? And then nearer home, here in Canada, the parliamentary approves a resolution on 26th of October. And nobody knows about it. And this resolution says that they approve the petition of one Samir Mizaz, who is the spokesperson for the Canadian Muslim Forum, which has been found to be affiliated to Muslim Brotherhood. Under this petition, which has no legal validity because the petitions that are accepted by the parliament have no legal value except it can be a stepping stone to the law. And now the petition says that any form of criticism of Islam, any form, spoken or written, should be banned and punished. Now when they say punished, that means that there is a hint of the likely action to come that the law would be formulated. Already laws are there. If the freedom of speech impinges on hate, then there is a hate crime and people have been arrested and prosecuted for that. But to call for any sort of criticism without defining Islamophobia is cutting at the roots of free expression. And interestingly, why Islamophobia? Have we thought of Judeophobia? According to States Canada, the hate crime against Jews are 10 times more than the hate crimes against the Muslims. So, if we are fair, we should start with the concept that Judeophobia is a crime. And you can be sure 33% Canadians would be behind bars. That means about 1 million Canadians would be guilty, including some of the members of the parliament and maybe some ministers. Why is calling a person Paki not a crime then? Why is the person calling a Chinese chinky-eyed not a crime then? Now, if you say that anything which is critical of Islam is a crime, you are cutting at the root of all research even. That means there will be no critical article concerning Islam. Muhammad died in 636 AD, and by 711 AD, from Spain to Afghanistan, the whole area had become crescent worshipper. It had become Muslim. Did it become so by peaceful means? Definitely not. Today, even the flag of Saudi Arabia, the symbol is sword, which they are using in Middle East, and the US is supporting it. Now the question arises that is this action of the parliament justified, or is it another hint of Islamization? Are our leaders only so blind to the reality that they want to scuttle even the critical mass of rightful, rational thinking? The first victim of this crime, if it's so, and in case the parliament later on follows up with a petition, by converting the petition into a law, saying that Islamophobia or any critical analysis of any action of Muslim terrorists or even of ISIS is a crime. Because ISIS says that it is a true representative of Islam. The first to suffer would be Tariq Fateh, Ishad Menzi, Hirsi Ali. They are the most vocal critics of the irrationalities that can hurt or that can be a sign of any religion. And they are so of Islam as well. What is so sacrosanct that we can criticize Bible and Christianity, that we can criticize Judaism and the Jews, we can criticize Hindus, Sikhs, but not Islam? Why? Is this not A, rank discrimination, B, a clear motivative bid to promote one religion when that's not a danger? Protection is justified, but promotion definitely is not. I'm amazed that on the one side we are crying hoarse about the human rights. And I said in my comments earlier, we promote Saudi Arabia and denigrate Thailand. We cry hoarse about equality. And here is one religion, Judaism, which is the worst sufferer of hate, which has been a victim of Judaophobia 10 times more than Islam. And yet we make criticism of Islam a possibly a punishable and cognizable offense. And anybody criticizing Judaism can get away with it. Is this not the negation of the very concept of freedom? And is this not negation of the right of the people to speak out their minds? You see, the problem with our politicians is that they jump from the top of the peak without carrying sufficient protective clothing or mayors or equipment. And the result is not only they crack their own skulls, but also crack open the society as such. They hurt the society. The polity that is free, uncontaminated, is sought to be destroyed by such things. I accept that Islamophobia should not be there, but nor should there be Judophobia. But let's go ahead, let's accept it, that you want to have a certain favorite child. Okay, then define what is Islamophobia. Is it confined only to abuse, or does it also cover critical analysis? Does it cover only calling names or discriminating? Or does it also mean veneration by the people who don't believe in that? If the petition was to become a law, then possibly the first victim would be, as I said, these enlightened Muslims who have seen through the deficiencies. You would agree that every religion, until it transforms itself, would suffer from aging. Christianity was a very oppressive religion. There were a lot of issues in that. The same things which are happening in Islam were there. Women were victimized. The opponents were killed. You remember the Spanish Inquisition, when thousands were killed. Bloody Mary in England killed 3,000 Protestants in one night. So the past of Christianity has been bloody as well. I don't deny it. But they changed. With Luther coming into picture, the Protestant movement started to cleanse and change the Christianity. And Christianity realized its real self, that of being a caring institution, a religion that promotes love. Same thing could have happened in Islam had critical analysis been permitted. But Islam is a cloistered society where no criticism, even with a view to change it for the better, is concerned. And the result is what is happening today. Just see Ahmadiyas with their avowed concept of love for all, hatred for none, are not even regarded Muslims by two countries, Indonesia and Pakistan. And I believe, if I go by their actions, or by the actions of Ismailis, headed by Aga Khan, to be the perfect Muslims. If Muslims were like Ismailis or by Ahmadiyas, the world would have been a much better place. But Wahhabism, that is being promoted very carefully by Saudi Arabia, is the root cause of all anti-human terrorism. And how can you condone that? With a desire to placate the voters, with a desire to placate vocal supporters of militantism. Muslim Brotherhood is a terrorist organization, should have been. And as Trump rightly says, he'll characterize it as a terrorist organization on day one. They were responsible for the issue of the bloodshed in Egypt And nobody raised a word about that. We have got to ensure that the freedom of expression remains unrestrained, unchecked. Yes, check hate, definitely. Stop all hate. But then there are laws already for that. Why enact new laws? Why accept such frivolous petitions? The very acceptance of this frivolous petition is a hallmark of the supine servility and lack of broad-minded approach, lack of vision, lack of strength, of belief in yourself. This shows a betrayal of Canadian values, a betrayal of human values, a betrayal of freedom, a betrayal of liberty. I am reminded of Patrick Henry when he said, "Give me freedom or give me death." And when Abe Lincoln said, "Nobody has a right to hurt others, but nobody has a right also to hurt others who do not hurt you." When the terrorists throw bombs, they are hurting those who are not hurting anybody. Innocent children, seniors, peaceful citizens who are going about their business. So if you criticize them, where the hell is Islamophobia? Islamophobia has emerged as a camouflage or as a burqa to cover the misdeeds of a group called terrorists, the Wahhabi-oriented, Wahhabi-trained terrorists who are avowedly Muslim. But are they really so? As a rationalist would say, no. And that is why Kemal Atatürk in Turkey was enlightened enough to make Turkey a secular country. It's one thing that the country has gone back on that promise. But my question to you and to the leaders is, are we turning Canada, because we live here, and by corollary, USA and Europe, into a bastion of the middle-aged stupidity and ignorance, a cesspool of irrational thought? Did we come all the way till 2016 on the path of enlightenment and renaissance to revert back to the Stone Age? That is the question that faces you. That is a situation you should be wary of, careful. If you keep on sleeping, maybe you, but definitely your children, would be nothing but third-rate citizens of a country governed by morons. Be prepared.